that early stage, but give it a go. If you can't get it at the early stage, you can get it later on. All right. So now, when you visit the land, you want to get in contact with an experienced surveyor, okay? Because one thing when it comes to buying land in Ghana, and maybe an entire African continent, I'm not sure, I can only talk about Ghana, do not believe. Hi guys, welcome to AsherGad channel. Once again, making Africa home again, one family at a time. Trust you are all doing well wherever you are on the four corners of this planet, and working gradually on your dreams to make them become a reality. Hopefully on this lovely continent that is Mother Africa. Thanks for joining us again. Tuesday, 6 p.m. GMT as usual, and today we have an exciting topic for you, which is based on a number of inquiries that we have had recently, and it's actually a topic we've covered before, but I want to cover it again and just add a bit of revision to it. So this video is all about buying land in Ghana, okay? The 20 steps to buying land in Ghana revised, okay? So we're gonna go straight into it because many people want to buy land. They approach us about buying lands, and obviously to build in Ghana starts with the land. However, as we know, buying land can be a tricky process. Yeah, people have lost money. I have to be sincere. People have lost money. There are so many land litigation issues in Ghana at the moment. Many sort of court injunctions and the rest of it. So it is very important to do your due diligence, right? Take it step by step and ensure you cover all these steps. Now, we believe, and we are a product of these steps because we follow these exact steps when we're buying our land, and we've helped other people in do the same thing. So if you follow these 20 steps, do your due diligence, then you should be okay. All right. So without any further ado, guys, let's get straight. The first thing is, where do you find the land? Now, there are a number of places you can find land. We bought our land from Mikasa.com website on your screen, but there are other places that you can find land in Ghana. There's another one that escapes me at this moment in time, but I'll put it on your screen as well. You can find lands there. I wouldn't buy a land where you're just walking around and you see a signboard, land for sale. In fact, I say I wouldn't, but if you follow these 20 steps, then you can approach the ones that have a signboard that said this land is for sale. Fine, you can approach those ones as well, because it's still the same advert, whether it's online or offline, it doesn't matter. The issue is follow the 20 steps I'm about to give you wherever the advert of the land is found. That is the key. So let's get straight into it. So now, obviously, there's always the seller's agent, and you want to contact the seller's agent, whether it's online or offline, and ask them for the site plan, okay? Ask them for the site plan, ask them for the details of the site, because obviously you want to make sure that what is being marketed to you is something that you like in the first place. I'm sure you need to do your own due diligence in terms of the location that you want, how far you want to be from the airport, how far you want to be from certain amenities, what you want. That's down to you to find the location that you want, the area that you want. Okay, whether it's for rental or whatever it may be. Okay, ask for local assistance with that as well if you want. Okay, so once you get the land that you want to go and have a look at, ask the agent, the seller's agent that is, for the site plan, and go ahead and make that site visit. Okay, if you're not in the country, let somebody do it on your behalf, but it's very, very, very important. Okay, now when you go to the site itself, want to conduct your basic checks. Check, did they tell you it's a service land? Okay, did they tell you that the electricity is available? Check if electricity is available. If it's not available, how far is it away? How many poles would you have to bring? Would you have to pay for from ECG to get the electricity close to your land as possible to service your needs? Is there, Ghana water? Is there Ghana area, or would you need a borehole? For example, what is the road network like? Think about living there. How far is it from the main road? Is it feasible? Are you renting the property? Are you going to build to rent out, or are you going to build to live? Think about all these factors to see if your chosen land meets your needs. Okay, obviously we know that the price of land, or the appreciation of the price of land as an asset is all about location, location, location. So always bear that in mind also, okay? Also, as you're looking at the land, you know your overall budget, hopefully, for your build. Hopefully you've approached the QS and they've given you a BOQ, a bill of quantities, and you know your overall estimate as a budget for your entire build. Which also, the land can also have an impact on how much it's going to cost you to build your home. Because obviously, if you go and build on a hill, okay, then that's going to cost more. That's something you need to factor in. How the artisans get to your site, how the deliveries get to your site. The more tricky it is, the more difficult it is going up a hill, etc., then obviously the more cost you would have to incur on the transportation of material. All right. So now this third step is probably all these steps are important. This third step is probably one of the most important steps to undertake. Okay. Now I'm trying to rush through this because I'm outside. It looks like it's about to rain. I'm trying to finish this before it does. So this third step is, it's not always possible, but if it is possible, try if you can ask for a copy of the draft indenture, even if it's just the first couple of pages where the seller's details and the property number is there, or the land certificate reference of the land is there. Okay, because what you want to do here is very important. You want to use the names of the sellers, or ideally the property code or the property number, to do a Google search and to see if any court injunctions on this piece of land. Is this piece of land under litigation? And you'll be surprised what Google results can come out. Because you see, sometimes there's a time lag. There's a time lag between a piece of land that is in the courts or has an injunction put on it under litigation. There's a time lag between the court doing that and the court actually communicating that to the Lands Commission. So it could be, and I've heard of these cases before, it could be that you do a Lands Commission search, a full search, everything comes up okie dokie, perfect, everything matches, everything looks above board. But you have done it in the period where there's been an injunction on the land and the court is yet to communicate that to the Lands Commission. Very, very important, guys. So the Google search will hopefully enable you to see whether there's any issues on the land or not. If there's any litigation or court injunction, if there's anything about court on the land, run away as fast as you can. Run away as fast as you can. Unless you most likely will encounter significant losses down the road. Okay, so bear that in mind. Do a Google search. Now, the indenture, the draft indenture may not always be available, at that early stage, but give it a go. If you can't get it at the early stage, you can get it later on. All right. So now, when you visit the land, you want to get in contact with an experienced surveyor. Okay, because one thing when it comes to buying land in Ghana and maybe an entire African continent, I'm not sure. I can only talk about Ghana. Do not believe any paperwork that is given to you. I'm putting that on board on your screen. Do not believe any paperwork that is given to you until you verify the information on that paperwork. Okay? Very, very important. Don't believe it, guys, until it's verified. Don't believe the site plan. Get a surveyor to go with you. Let the surveyor mark out the site plan himself, mark out the coordinates, an experienced surveyor. He will give you his plan matching the coordinates. Then you can verify, does my surveyor's plan match the site plan that the seller's agent has given to me? Okay, if it does, hunky-dory, happy days, you move to your next step. Okay, don't be in a rush. Sometimes you see a land that you really like, and I know there are other people wanting to buy it as well, so obviously you can't be too slow, but be methodical. Be methodical and get all these things done properly. Okay, so number 5, perform a Lands Commission search. Again, remember, guys, you want to keep moving. So there's a quick search and then there's a full-blown search. Okay, the quick search, the last time I heard was about 300 cities. Just a quick search. Okay, it verifies the names of the owners that they have, and you can just use it to verify quickly. Does that match the names that we have? Okay, just a quick search. It shouldn't cost more than 200 to 400 Ghana cedis. You should get the results in 3 days, and that can give you, let's say, the first step of confidence to continue going on, to continue to move into the next step. Okay, now the next step, okay, when you go to visit the land, try to ask about the seller's reputation in the local area. You know, try to ask the locals, you know, who is actually selling this land. Try to get that information as well, because all this information you're getting from the Lands Commission, from your own Google search, from the locals in the area, all of them hopefully will all tally up. All of them will all sync to the actual person who's selling the property, or to the chiefs as well. Everything will synchronize, and when that happens, then it's really going well for you. Okay, oops, I'm feeling some raindrops, so speeding up. So now, the next step, I would say, is step number, I think I've lost my count now. I think, where was I? I think I'm on step number 6. Right. So now let's say you've got the quick search result back from the Lands Commission, the names match, but now what you want to do is to do a full-blown search. That can be going on whilst you are progressing the other steps in the process. Do a full-blown search, and that full-blown search will search with the Lands Commission in the various different departments of the land, about 3 different thoroughly through all of them, and then you get your results. Depending on how quickly you get the results, okay, that will determine the price you pay. The last time I inquired, if you wanted the results within 1 week, it was about 1,200 or between 1,200 and 1,400 cities, okay, for a plot. Okay, if you're happy to wait for like 2 weeks to get that full-blown search, then it's probably about either between 700 and maybe 900 Ghana cities. Okay, so get that going. Okay, get that going. Then you move on to the next step. By this step, you will definitely should be able to have a copy of the indenture, the draft indenture. And again, for yourself, check the seller's details. Okay, check the contract terms and conditions. Okay, now there are 2 types of ways of transferring land or selling land from one person to the other. There's one where you can sublet. Somebody can own a piece of land and sublet it to you for the remaining period of the lease. Okay, the lease is typically 99 years, unless you're a foreigner, then it's 50 years. So whoever is selling the land can sublease to you a proportion of the remaining part of that lease, which is totally legal. But you know, I wouldn't encourage anybody to do that. We didn't do that. We initially, that's what the seller was trying to do, a sublease, but we rejected it outright, walked away. 2 weeks later he changed his mind, and we got what we wanted. And what we wanted was a full assignment. What you want the seller to relinquish all their rights to the land and sell it to you. Okay, you don't want to, you know, to remain a sublease to him and he's a sublease to the chief. No, forget that. You want full transfer of the ownership of the land to yourself. That's what we recommend. Okay, now next step. Okay, if you want more details about that, click on that video we did, the original video we did up here, and you can see that for yourself. Okay, so the next step is now this may not apply to everyone. It all depends on your level of confidence. Myself and Gad, we read our contract indenture for ourselves. It was, you know, fairly straightforward. We did not employ a lawyer. You know, Gad has got a law background. Everything was quite straightforward. But if you are not in that position and you're not confident of that, then employ the services of an experienced Ghana conveyancing lawyer who can read the indenture for you, make sure everything is correct and in your favor. Okay, so you have to make that choice yourself, because obviously you have to pay for the lawyer as well. So there's obviously a cost there. Okay, now in terms of, obviously, one thing that, you know, is not great in Ghana, you know, again depending on the circumstance, is that a lack of price regulation, I guess. You know, so in order to get the right price for your money that you feel is good value, then you need to compare the price of the land, you know, to others that are selling nearby, so you get a good indication of the value that you know you're being asked to pay. And then you know whether it's a value that you're happy to pay based on the land size and others in the nearby area of similar quality. Okay, next step is, I would say, I'm just looking at my notes here. You can then make your payment after the negotiation of the price, okay, and obtain the final agreed indenture. Make sure you keep every single evidence along the way. Keep all receipts of payments. Write on the receipt what the payment was for. Highly, highly, highly important. Okay, now the final indenture, in order for it to be legally binding, needs to be signed by the seller, the buyer, and witnesses on both sides. Okay, the seller, the buyer, and witnesses on both sides. Okay, now, okay, very, very, very important, guys. I've lost track of the numbers, but I'll put them on the screen for you. Okay, but after the final indenture is signed, you've made payment, you got the evidence of the payment, everything signed, and then at that point we can say, congratulations guys, this land is yours. You are now a landowner, a wonderful asset to have on the great motherland that is Africa, wherever it is on the continent. Okay, right, now again, I've covered this in the previous video. If you haven't watched that video, please click up here. Once you have your agreed indenture, made payment, the land is yours, the first thing you want to do is to construct a fence wall. Even if you're not ready to start your main construction, construct a fence wall that is high enough, 10-12 feet, let's say, okay, so that you try to limit trespassing, you limit land encroaching, because encroachment can be an issue. I've known of people who've bought 4 plots and ended up with 3 3/4 or 3.5 when they come to build, because they did not build a fence wall around their plot. That video, I explained an example, so watch that video if you haven't and you see what I mean. Beware of encroachment. Get that fence wall up. When you're building the fence wall, again, this is all depending, when are you going to start building the house? You know, if you're going to start building the house very quickly, then you can leave, you know, a gap, a reasonable gap for the truck to deliver the materials into the land. Okay, but if you're going to leave the land bare for a while, then you can close it all up, just leaving, maybe just having a small gate, for example. Again, if you're going to leave the land bare for a long time, try to construct a little hut on the land, a little hut where you can even have a caretaker staying there, or somebody who comes to, let's say, weed the place, stay there. A little hut, because there are some, I've heard of some cases where people buy lands and leave it bare for years, don't construct anything on it, then it becomes an issue. Okay, so try to construct something small on it, even if you're not ready to do your massive project. Okay, next step, obviously I think I've talked about that, employ the services of a local caretaker, okay, until the development starts. Somebody can look at the land every now and again, walk around, make sure everything is okay. Okay, and hopefully when you build a relationship with that person, you trust them, even as you're building the main building, they can actually stay in the house for you, okay, for a fee, to keep an eye on things. Okay, and even this small shed, I advise you to construct. Okay, if you're going to leave the land bare for a while, that small shed will be very, very vital to you even during the construction. You can put it in a corner somewhere, because you can use that small shed, guess what, to store your materials, to store your iron rods, to store your wire boards, everything, padlock it off, and it's all secure. Okay, all right, so next step, architectural plans. Now, whether this can actually be done a bit earlier on, actually, to be fair. When you have your architectural plans ready, in Ghana, these architectural plans need to be stamped by a certified Ghanaian architect in order for them to be submitted to the municipal assembly. Okay, the municipal assembly is another nightmare organization, so don't miss this step. Get the plans stamped by a certified Ghanaian architect, stamped with a wet signature, okay, on the hard copies, right? Okay, then after that, you can then submit these building plans to the local municipal assembly and obtain obtain receipt as evidence of payment. Now, what happens is you are going to print out 4 hard copies of your proposed building plans, all 4 of them being stamped by the Ghanaian architect. Okay, and you will submit all 4 plans to the municipal assembly. Maybe do 5 plans, keep 1 for yourself, but they need 4 plans. Okay, now the reason why I say, just checking in my notes, is to, when you pay the municipal assembly, to keep the receipt as evidence of payment, is because after you submit these plans, nothing stops you from starting the construction on your site. But what you don't want is the headache of you doing the construction, and then you get the assembly workers coming along, okay, and demanding your building permit, which you may not have yet, but you've paid, okay, or trying to ransack or take all your tools away, trying to get you to stop work because you haven't got your building permit. Once you show them evidence of payment and that is in the process by the municipal assembly, then they leave you alone and then you can carry on.
Are you looking to build your dream home in Ghana, or are you building already? Would you benefit from regular site visits to monitor your building and receive regular progress reports? Well, if that's the case, and that's you, look no further. AsherGad Consultancy at your service. We offer the following services: electrical design, construction monitoring inspections, site progress reports, consultation for all items MEP, witnessing of testing and commissioning, periodic snagging, vetting of specialist subcontractors. We also report site activities to you to hopefully help you spend your money efficiently and much more. Get in contact for your building needs. Details on the screen. AsherGad Consultancy, making Africa home again, one family at a time.
Now, the next point doesn't apply to all lands. It all depends on where the land is. If the land is in a gated community, or or you're buying it from a developer who has already bought acres and acres and acres of land, and you're just buying a couple of plots, then they tend to be safe from this next point that I'm going to make, and that is the land guards. Okay, now land guards, they're not legal, kind of a mafia organization here in Ghana. I guess for lack of opportunity, they've been, they look after lands. Sometimes not even being asked to look after the lands, but they give you a significant headache, if you don't pay them off. Some of them can be quite rough, really, without going into too much detail. Use your imagination. But what I'm trying to say is that if you're buying a piece of land where there are land guard issues, then you need to sort them out also, just for a peace of mind for you to carry on. Now, to give you an indication, we bought our land, what was it? I can't remember now. I think it was October 21. October 20. Yeah, so we're coming up to 2 years now. Coming up to 2 years since we bought our lands, and we have to settle the land guards at a cost of 1,000 Ghana cedis per plot. We have 2 plots, or just over 2 plots, so that was 2,000 Ghana cedis it cost us. Really bad. It's a really bad practice, but unfortunately, that's what it is in some areas. So bear that in mind. If you buy from a developer who's already probably sorted them out already, then you shouldn't have that headache. But obviously, the land will be much more expensive. Okay. So once you've done that, okay, then I would say that you are safe to start your construction. Okay. Once you've gone through all these steps, guys, then I'll say you are safe to start your construction. Okay, by the best builder you can find. The best builder you can find by recommendation, yeah, or if you can find a company. If you can find a company in Ghana that will build your house for you and give you warranties, give you insurance, so that if anything is damaged, especially after moving in, they can repair it at their own cost, that would be the best. But obviously, I'm sure there are companies like that out there, but obviously they're going to be far more expensive, okay, to cover themselves. So you need to just look at the pros and cons of that particular statement. I know, for example, in the UK where we come from, where we used to live, you always get new home, they call it NHBC, new home, I think builders something, and the full definition is on your screen. It's a warranty. You get it for 12 months or more. Anything that goes wrong in the new house, you call them up, they come and sort it out. Whereas in Ghana, if it's not a company, it's an individual. Even if it's a company, it's possible that things will go wrong. You call them and they just play with you. Oh, we'll come today, we'll come tomorrow. Come today, come tomorrow, come today, come tomorrow. After 6 months, they still haven't come because they want to wear you out, and then you're left with having to pay for it for yourself to get the repair done. So please, weigh the pros and cons of that so you can make the right decision. Okay. Now at the Lands Commission, okay, you will have to pay a stamp duty. Okay. Now that stamp duty, when we paid for ours, that's about almost 2 years ago, was 1% of the value of the land. 1% of the value of the lands. Okay. Now it is what it is. That's just the law. So you have to pay for it. let me come back a couple of steps. The payment that you make to the municipal assembly, when they give you the receipt, it should show you what you're paying for. And generally, you're paying for stuff that never gets done in some areas. For example, ours, it had, you're paying for the fact that you're installing a septic tank, which is fine. You're paying for gutters on the street. You're paying for the road network being constructed. Obviously, none of that's been done, but that is what you're paying for at the municipal assembly. Okay, so now you go to the Lands Commission, you pay your 1% stamp duty. Okay, you go with your full agreed indenture and every paperwork, so they know you're paying for the right piece of land that you're buying. Very, very important. Make sure all the references are on there correctly. Okay, and then at this point, don't forget your construction is ongoing. You're safely ongoing in the construction. Okay, and at some point, okay, especially where you've had a full ownership transfer, you want to commence the land title transfer process so that the actual land title is transferred into your name. Another key, the last key important item, begin the land title transfer process. This is also done at the Lands Commission cantonments. When we did ours, it was about 8.5% of the value of the land. Not sure what it is at this moment in time. I'd have to double check on that. But as a budgetary, that's probably a good value to start off with you guys. About 2 years ago, it was about 8.5% of the value of the land. Okay, so at the end of all this process, okay, you should have your agreed indenture signed by the buyer, the seller, and 2 witnesses on both sides. You've done your Google search. There's no litigation. There's nothing. You're happy. You're going along. You should have your agreed indenture. You should have your land title certificate, which you get after the transfer of the land title is complete. You get the land title certificate, and then once the municipal has finished their work, you will get a building permit. Okay, so 3 documents: final agreed indenture, land title certificate, and then at the end, ultimately, at some point, you will get your building permit. 3 very important documents that you need to keep for yourself. Make copies because they're very, very important for you, because anybody can knock on your door at any point in the future and demand evidence that you have all this paperwork. Somebody from the municipal assembly, okay, in the future can also knock on your door demanding your property tax. There's a yearly property tax to pay as well. Okay, not too much. If I find the value, I'll put on your screen, but it's not too much. Okay, there's a yearly value. There's sometimes, and they don't necessarily come every year. They may come 3 years, 4 years, and then ask you for the money. But again, it's not a very significant amount, so don't worry too much about that. Okay, one thing about the building permit: begin the building permit application process on day 1 and continue to chase them as you construct. Okay, they are notoriously slow and can be tricky. So get a contact in there, build a relationship, and gradually get it done. Make a friend there, so you may need them in the future as well, which is fine. Okay, that's the way it appears to work expediently for people in the country. There are many properties that have been built almost finished without building permit. They've now got the building permits, but begin it as early as possible to avoid any headaches. Get it as quickly as possible, but don't let it hinder you starting the construction, especially if you have the evidence of payment with you. Okay, highly important. Now, if you're building, I am told by my contacts at the municipal assembly that if your building is more than, let's say, ground and first, okay, if you've got ground, first, second, and above, then I'm told you need an additional fire permit, a fire permit document. Okay, so bear that in mind as well. We didn't need it because we've only got ground and first, but apparently if you've got a level above first, then you need a further permit, which is to do with the fire systems. Okay, right, so guys, I think that brings me to the end of this video. How to buy the 20 steps to buying land in Ghana revised. I hope you enjoyed it. Okay, I hope it's beneficial to you. And as usual, like, share, subscribe, hit that notification button so you always be aware when AsherGad upload a new video for your viewing and educational pleasure. All right, so from Gad is Kemesia, and for me, guys, Yebeshia. See you next time.